Christ, we do all adore thee, and we do praise thee for.
Good morning, kids. We are so glad to have you with us this morning because we've got some very, very special things planned for you. This is Mrs. Woolley,
Hi,
and,
kids.
and she's going to be one of your teachers. And my name is Mrs. Watson. I'm one of your teachers too. So we are going to work together to bring you lessons about a very special person. And that person is named Jesus. Have any of you heard the name Jesus? I know you have. Well, where do we learn about Jesus? I can tell you it is right here in the Bible. The Bible is the book that God wrote to us because He knew that we needed to know a lot of things that only He could tell us. He told us everything that He knew we needed in order to be the kind of people He wants us to be. God knew that He was going to be sending a very special person, that one that we're studying about, to help us in showing us exactly what He wants us to be. But where would we go in the Bible, as this is a really big book, if we wanted to find out about Jesus' life as He lived on this earth? Well, I'm going to tell you. In the book of Matthew and Mark and Luke and John, we find the life of Jesus. Now, in these books, they will tell us different things. They're not all exactly alike, but all together, they are called the Gospels. Now, gospel is a word that we might not use all the time in our lives, but I want you to know what gospel means, and it means good news. Well, if these four books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, tell us about the life of Jesus, then what is it about Jesus' life that would be good news? I'd like for all of you this week to think about it. Think about what it is about this very special person that is good news for us. Did you know that Jesus was alive long, long before He was ever born to Mary? He is God, and He has always been alive. Well, at the very, very beginning of this book, this special book that God wrote to us, is the book of Genesis. And the very first verse in the book of Genesis, Genesis 1:1, says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Well, the very first verse of one of our Gospels, the Gospel of John, if we were to look at John chapter 1, verse 1, it starts out exactly the same way as Genesis 1:1. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Do you think that this might have been just an accident? I don't think so, because God told us exactly what He wanted us to know. But we need to figure out just exactly who or what is the Word. So in John 1, verse 1, it says the Word is God. So that's one clue. If we look in John verse 3, chapter 1 verse 3, it says that the Word is the Creator. And then if we were to skip down to verse 14 of John 1, it says that the Word became flesh and lived among us. Well, what does becoming flesh mean? What that means is he became a man. So who do we know who is God, who is the Creator, and who also is man? There's only one person, and that is Jesus. Well, Jesus, that special man that we have been talking about, was with God, and he was God from the very beginning. So he was there when everything was created. He created the oceans. He created the dry land. He created trees and grass. He created food for us. On some of those bushes we have berries, but all kinds of food for us. And then he created flowers, and they created birds, they created animals, and more animals, and then they created people. Well, that's pretty special for us, isn't it? After all, if those things had not been created, we wouldn't be here. But have you ever thought about Jesus being the Creator? That he was the one who created everything? So, with that in mind, we would know that without Jesus, there would be no animals, there would be no birds, there would be no flowers, there would be no food, no berries, there would be nothing. But especially, there would be no people. So, aren't we very, very glad that God, his own Son, was the Creator, and he's been here forever.
We learn about Jesus in the Old Testament too. What's a prophet? Well, a prophet is someone who speaks for God. These prophets lived more than 400 years before Jesus was ever born. How could these prophets know about Jesus and write these prophecies? God knew, and he told the prophets, and they wrote them down exactly the way God wanted them to.
And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed.
For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace.
Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin will be with child and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel.
Long before Jesus was born, the prophets told when he'd be born, where he would be born, how he would be born, who he'd be born to, what family he would be born into, and many other things. When Jesus was born and lived here on earth, every single one of the prophecies told were fulfilled. There were over 300 in the Old Testament. 300 fulfilled just in one person. Jesus, the Son of God. This year, we're going to learn a lot about Jesus. He's always been here, and he'll always be here. We have several worksheets that you can download and work on through the week to help you remember this lesson today that you learned about Jesus being here from the beginning of time and creating the world and coming down to earth. And it'll help you remember that he is part of God. But we're also going to have memory work. And our memory work today is going to come from the book of John, which we learned is in the Gospels. In that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it's in that Gospel, the good news. So John 1:1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." John 1:1. It's a great way to know that Jesus was God, is God, has been with us, and will be with us. We're also going to sing a song. So we're going to sing a song about Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus in the morning, Jesus at the noontide, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus when the sun goes down. Love him, I'm gonna love him in the morning, love him at the noontide, love him, I'm gonna love him when the sun goes down. Serve him, I'm gonna serve him in the morning, serve him at the noontide, serve him, I'm gonna serve him when the sun goes down. Praise him, I'm gonna praise him in the morning, praise him at the noontide, praise him, I'm gonna praise him when the sun goes down.